On December 6 in the year 1917 at 9:05 a.m., in the harbor of Halifax in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia, the most devastating man-made explosion in the pre-atomic age occurs when the Mont Blanc, a French munitions ship, explodes 20 minutes after colliding with another vessel. As World War I raged in Europe, the port city of Halifax bustled with ships carrying troops, relief supplies, and munitions across the Atlantic Ocean. On the morning of December 6, the Norwegian vessel Imo left its mooring in Halifax Harbor for New York City. At the same time, the French freighter Mont Blanc, its cargo hold packed with highly explosive munitions, 2,300 tons of picric acid, 200 tons of TNT, 35 tons of high-octane gasoline, and 10 tons of gun cotton, was forging through the harbor's narrows to join a military convoy that would escort it across the Atlantic. At approximately 8:45 a.m., the two ships collided, setting the picric acid ablaze. The Mont Blanc was propelled toward the shore by its collision with the Imo, and the crew rapidly abandoned the ship, attempting without success to alert the harbor of the peril of the burning ship. Spectators gathered along the waterfront to witness the spectacle of the blazing ship, and minutes later, it brushed by a harbor pier, setting it ablaze. The Halifax Fire Department responded quickly and was positioning its engines next to the nearest hydrant when the Mont Blanc exploded at 9:05 a.m. in a blinding white flash. 1,800 people continued their eternity as a result of this mass explosion. Another 9,000 people were injured and 200 people were blinded. Almost the entire north end of the city of Halifax was destroyed, including more than 1,600 homes. The resulting shock wave shattered windows 50 miles away, and the sound of the explosion could be heard hundreds of miles away. 50 miles away. Wow. It was December 6 in the year 1921 that the Irish Free State was declared. The Irish Free State, comprising 4/5 of Ireland, is declared ending a 5-year Irish struggle for independence from Britain. Like other autonomous nations of the former British Empire, Ireland was to remain part of the British Commonwealth, symbolically subject to the King. The Irish Free State later severed ties with Britain and was renamed Eire, and is now called the Republic of Ireland. English rule over the island of Ireland dates back to the 12th century, and Queen Elizabeth I of England encouraged a large-scale immigration of Scottish Protestants in the 16th century. During the ensuing centuries, a series of rebellions by Irish Catholics were put down as the Anglo-Irish minority extended their domination over the Catholic majority. Under absentee landlords, the Irish population was reduced to a subsistence diet based on potatoes, and when the potato famine struck the country in the 1840s, 1 million people starved. A movement for Irish home rule gained momentum in the late 19th century, and in 1916, Irish nationalists launched the Easter Rising against British rule in Dublin. The rebellion was crushed, but widespread agitation for independence continued. In 1919, the Irish Republican Army launched a widespread and effective guerrilla campaign against British forces. In 1921, a ceasefire was declared, and in January of 1922, a faction of Irish nationalists signed a peace treaty with Britain, calling for the partition of Ireland, with the South becoming autonomous and the 6 northern counties of the island remaining in the United Kingdom. Civil War broke out even before the declaration of the Irish Free State on December 6th in 1922 and ended with the victory of the Irish Free State over the Irish Republican forces in 1923. A constitution adopted by the Irish people in 1937 declared Ireland to be a sovereign, independent, democratic state, and the Irish Free State was renamed Eire. It's actually pronounced Eire, and Eire remained neutral during World War II, and in 1949, the Republic of Ireland Act severed the last remaining link with the Commonwealth. Conflicts persisted over Northern Ireland. However, the IRA, outlawed in the South, went underground to try to regain the northern counties still ruled by Britain. Violence between Protestants and Catholics in Northern Ireland escalated in the early 1970s, and to date, the fighting has claimed more than 3,000 lives. It was December 6th in the year 1961 that Syracuse running back Ernie Davis becomes the first black player to win the Heisman Trophy, college football's top individual award, beating Ohio State fullback Bob Ferguson. Earlier that day, Davis met with President John F. Kennedy, our nation's 35th president, at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York. I'd never thought I'd ever be shaking the hand of the President of the United States, Ernie was reported to have said about the encounter. As a senior in 1961, Davis rushed for 823 yards and scored 14 touchdowns. The previous season, he rushed for 877 yards. Davis was the first pick in the 1962 NFL Draft by Washington, which traded him to the Cleveland Browns. But he never played in the NFL. Davis was diagnosed with leukemia later in 1962 and continued his eternity on May 18th in 1963. He was 23 years old. When I look back, I can't call myself unlucky, Davis wrote in the Saturday Evening Post in March of 1963. My 23rd birthday was December 14th. In these years, I have had more than most people get in a lifetime. Years after Davis continued his eternity, Syracuse coach Ben Schwartzwalder called him the best kid I ever had anything to do with. Ernie was just like a puppy dog, friendly, warm, and kind, he told Sports Illustrated. He had that spontaneous goodness about him. He radiated enthusiasm. His enthusiasm rubbed off on the kids. Oh, he'd knock you down, but then he'd run back and pick you up. We never had a kid so thoughtful and polite. The information documented and divulged on this audio file can be verified on history.com.